Hey, I'm Myers, and sorry about the wet hair. I just got out of the shower. But, anyways, got a new 45 coming out on Sioux. It's Richard Duguay. He's from the Canadian punk band Personality Crisis. So, if you guys are fans of Personality Crisis, I've never had the record, but like everybody and their dog I've ever known has had that record, the Personality Crisis record. Uh, my good buddy Tim Cox has always had that record. Um, I've heard it a lot, like at parties and whatever. I don't go to parties anymore, but when I was a kid, I used to hear that record a lot with friends or whatever. Um, so despite never actually owning it myself, pretty familiar with the record. So this is Richard Duguay, the guitar player from Personality Crisis. Pulled out the poly here so if you can see it better without any glare. So as you can see, Richard Duguay, Fame Horror. Yeah, so the A side of this 45 is called Fuck You Fame Horror. Not really sure what he's trying to get at there. Maybe the messaging is a little too subtle for my, you know, but no, it's a great song. Like, really, it's a great song. And then, you know, it's killer punk and roll. It starts out kind of slow, 50s ish, and it cranks up. Kind of reminiscent of Long Lost Fight by New Bomb Turks, where it starts out with that 50s sort of balladeer of lost love or whatever, but Richard cranks into a fuck you fame more, and so here's the backside. So the B side, Sign DC, which is an Arthur Lee song. Arthur Lee from Love, and I. Okay, here's the thing. I'm a product of the '80s. I was a latchkey kid in the '80s, raised by MTV, and late '80s. I ended up getting into skateboarding, which evolved into ordering punk rock cassettes out of the back of skateboard magazines. Ordering Naked Raygun and Descendants and Black Flag and shit like that. And then I get the JFA records out of the back of Freestyling magazine and Thrasher, and I remember waiting by the mailbox, waiting for my new music to show up. But anyways, so being a product of the '80s, and I wasn't too familiar with Love, or basically growing up, like everything before the time I was born in '77, I just thought was boring hippie music. That came out of the '60s, and then I liked '50s music. I liked Chuck Berry and Jerry Lee Lewis and shit like that. You know, so I never, as a kid, really never got into Love in Arthur Lee's music until, I don't know, like I was in high school. I got a double damned like greatest hits record, and it had a cover of The Damned doing the Love song, Alone Again, which is Damn fans don't fucking like it, but I listen to that record. I love that fucking Alone Again song by, it was a love song by The Damned on this greatest hits record or whatever they got. But anyways, that was really the kind of the first time I paid attention to Love and Arthur Lee, and like you watch documentaries, you read articles and books and whatever, and you hear reference to Arthur Lee, and it took me a hot minute to get into Arthur Lee and Love, and Sign DC by Arthur Lee, which is the song on the B side. And bonus treat on that, we got Pat Todd blowing harmonica on it. Pat Todd, from Pat Todd and the Rink Outsiders, and you know him from Lazy Cowgirls. So he's blowing harmonica on the Arthur Lee cover. A side is Fuck You Fame Whore. So, excited, I was pleasantly surprised that, Richard reached out to me and wanted to do this, like I said, fan of Personality Crisis, despite not owning the record. But, man, there's so many fucking great records out there, like, you can't own them all, it's a motherfucker, if I come across a copy of Personality Crisis in the wild, at a record store that, was reasonably priced, or fuck it, I think Porterhouse Records just did. Porterhouse Records does a lot of really nice represses. I think they just did a repress of it. So maybe I'll have to hit up Porterhouse's website and get it. But anyways, here's what you get. Sorry about the lighting. Let's see if I can bag that down. So like all Sioux stuff, white vinyl, and here's your A-side label, obviously numbered 1 through 300, like all of the Sioux records. So anyways, it's up on the website. It's shipping now. Again, I want to thank Richard, and I want to thank Pat Todd. Pat Todd kind of put this together for us to work on this together. So we did the 45 with Pat Todd, the Rank Outsiders, which is fucking killer. And then not too long after that, Pat messaged. He says, do you know who Richard is? He's from Personality Crisis. I'm like, hey, yeah, I know that band. And he's like, would he be interested? So that's how we got the ball rolling on this. I feel, as the owner of the label, as the guy making the decisions on what we put out, I feel really fortunate that I've had a lot of really fucking talented people come want to work with me. Obviously there's a need for labels to put shit out for bands or whatever. The bands might not have the financing to do it themselves or whatever, but there's a lot of options out there, a lot of labels out there, and the people who want to work with me, it's amazing. Going back to the very beginning of doing the Yowl from St. Louis and Richard Buckus solo album from DJ, it was like a deal he did on his own aside from Degeneration. The fact that these guys in the beginning, had faith in me, it blows my mind. Working with guys like Richard here, Pat Todd, Steve Bass, these guys are my fucking heroes, man. Steve Bass, all of his bands have just been fucking phenomenal, and Sea Bass has so many fucking bands and has recorded so much shit that, like, I mean, you can't even fucking keep track of how many bands he's been. I mean, obviously the Devil Dogs, but he's been in so many fucking great acts. And you know, I love the Vikings. You know, which is you know, just a fucking phenomenal band. Morton from the Vikings. He's got another band called Carolina and the Treats, which we're talking about maybe doing something. So hope that works out. You know, Carolina and the Treats is a Norwegian band that, like, doesn't really have a following here in the U.S. So you know, maybe do something with them. You know, that'd be cool. You know, I'm all about exposing people here in America to shit that's going on over in Europe and Australia and all kinds of places, you know. So but if you're into this, you can pick one up on the website. I'll have a link in the description. If you like these videos, please like the video and subscribe to the channel. And the song I'm going to play you is off the A side, Fuck You Fame Whore. Maybe you will understand what he's getting at here. You know, it might be too subtle for a lot of us, but you know, I mean, a lot of us grew up eating paint chips and under power lines. So anyways, if you're a window licker like me, it might be too subtle. So anyways, thanks for watching, and here's Fuck You Fame Whore by Richard Duguay, and the links in the description on where you can get a copy.
My angel, my one desire, so beautiful, you were mine. But then one day, I was walking down the street, I saw you with another man, he sold more records than me. Fuck you, fame whore, fuck you. Stars.